Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Have we all moved on from yesterday then? Have we forgot the friendly? You know, that's what they're meant to be like. They happen, 24 hours later, you forget all about it. So I hope we're ready to move on, because today we're going to talk about something a lot more positive. Transfer rumours. Everybody's favourite. If you haven't already, you know what to do. Like and subscribe. We are powering towards the big 40,000 mark. So let's get there as soon as possible in time for the 2023-24 campaign. It would be much appreciated. But let's get into talking about these transfer rumours today. I lied. Let's actually go back to yesterday because it relates to what we're going to talk about today. I know I said I wanted to move on from the friendly, but, you know, a lot of criticism yesterday in regards to the defence and the goalkeeping departments at Celtic Football Club. Conceding 6 goals isn't exactly what you want to see. May I just drill through very quickly though? It's a friendly. It's a glorified training session. I don't think it's worth getting too worked up about it. But at the end of the day, there was valid criticism to have in how we defended against Yokohama yesterday. So we are looking to address that. It looks as though the rumour mill this morning has provided us with some options as to what Celtic could be looking at to improve the back line at Celtic Football Club. A lot of people wanting to see some reinforcement, and that's what we might be getting. So, if you did have concerns yesterday, you'll like this news today. On that note as well, Saturday we take on Gamba Osaka in Osaka, Japan. We'll try and do another watch along. Thank you to everybody who checked out yesterday's. We had a good laugh, spoke about a lot of different topics. We'll try and get one going Saturday morning again, so hopefully I'll see you there. 11 o'clock kickoff over in Osaka. It should be an exciting friendly once again. Okay, let's start with someone we've already spoke about this summer on the channel, someone that's already been linked with Celtic in this window, and that is Dutch centre-half Xavier Biyamba. Yes, he's back in the papers this morning, apparently now one of Celtic's top targets for the summer transfer window. The Daily Mail published an article saying that he's now high on a list of Celtic transfer targets for this window, and in one of Brendan Rodgers' priorities to come in and strengthen the back line. We've already done a deep dive into Xavier Biyamba in this transfer window. There is a video on the channel that you can go back and find where we look at him in quite a bit of depth, but he's someone who I said at the time would be very interesting to see coming to Celtic. Someone with a good stature in terms of his physical presence, big guy. He's already been compared to Virgil van Dijk back home in Holland. They've given the label of the next Van Dijk. And listen, as soon as you're getting compared with Virgil van Dijk, you're suddenly going to be interested amongst Celtic fans. So it's someone who I think that obviously we haven't seen much of with our own eyes. But with what we've seen and heard of him in the media and from the Dutch press, he's certainly someone who has a high ceiling in the game. He played for the Barcelona Youth Academy. Once again, if you've somehow made it to that academy, you can't be a bad footballer. So he's someone who I'm more than happy to see Celtic linked with. It was reported back then a couple of months ago when we first spoke about him that he was destined to leave his club right now in Holland. He is expected to go from Volendam. If I remember rightly in that video, it was something like he had an agreement with the club to leave this summer, or he wasn't going to sign a new contract, something along those lines. I think that he's realised his own potential, and that lies away from Volendam. Celtic being a massive upgrade on where he is right now. So Celtic seem to have him near the top of the list. Is it a case now of inquiring about the fee, getting something done, with personal terms being very easy to agree? It looks as though he wants a move away from the club, and I'd imagine if Champions League Celtic come calling, that's going to be a no-brainer for him. Only 21 years of age, 6'4", and capped for the Dutch under-19s when he was playing at that level. As I've already said, it looks as though the ceiling is quite literally very high for him. A tall guy, but it looks as though he's got a lot of potential in the game. Of course, being involved with Chelsea and Barcelona, maybe that potential is something now that he wants to realise again away from Volendam. He's played in the Eredivisie now, I think 20 appearances over there in Holland, a good league to play in. This is someone I think Celtic should go all in for if the price is right. If it is a short-term contract that he's on, I understand that it is, then that's something that Celtic should be all on top of. I think we need someone like him in terms of bringing that height to the back line. We don't have that. As good as Cameron Carter-Vickers is, he doesn't have height. Carl Starfelt doesn't really have height either. You know, they're 6'1", tall guys, but, you know, they can be towered over quite easily. To bring in someone 6'4" with the agility that the guy's got and the technical ability too. He's not a big clunky, you know, falling over his cell, can't handle the ball kind of player. He's big, he's technical, he likes to carry the ball. He's got all the tools that a Celtic centre-half would really need. And he's also got that physical aspect to his game as well, which can improve on what we already have. So it's one to keep an eye on. I think there's a reason why he's one of the top targets now for Brendan Rodgers. So let's see how this one develops. It's someone I'd like to see come in. And on that note, another centre-half linked with us this morning. It was reported in the Polish media that Celtic are in for Legia Warsaw centre-half Malik Nawrocki, who is highly rated at Legia Warsaw. He's on for a move this summer. A couple of teams interested, and Celtic have entered the race, reportedly. Polish journalist Paweł Golaszewski put this up this morning, saying that apart from Galatasaray, Celtic have entered the game for Malik Nawrocki. It seems that these are really the last days of the defender being with Legia Warsaw. It looks all but certain he will leave. Will it be to Galatasaray? Will it be to Celtic? Another player who I must say, upon reading this morning, I really like the look of. I always find it funny with players like this, you know, your Nawrockis, your Biyambas. Never seen them kick a ball, never seen them defend in a game of football. But there's just, you look at them sometimes and you just get a good feeling. You do your reading, you do your stat checking, you do everything else, and you just go, right, okay, that's the kind of player that I'd like to see. I get a good feeling. I just realised I've been calling him Malik, I think. His name's actually Mike, M-A-I-K. But yeah, let's have a little look at him. Highly rated by Legia Warsaw. German-born but Polish international, only 22 years of age. Had a fantastic season with Legia Warsaw, earning him quite a high valuation. And now, of course, interest from other parties. 25 appearances in the Polish top flight last season, scoring 4 goals as well. So, you know, you add the height of someone like Biyamba or the ability to score goals of someone like Nawrocki, and I think that's automatically an upgrade on what we have right now. I would like to see the ability to score goals from set pieces in our centre halves. We get the odd couple here and there for Starfelt and Carter Vickers, but you know, we don't have that constant threat of like, okay, ball could come in and we can get something here. I like the thought of having a centre half who can do that from every set piece, but he is destined to be on the way out from Legia Warsaw by the looks of things. And if Celtic are in for it, then why not go for the two of them, him and Biyamba? The more the merrier, in my opinion. His contract runs up in the summer of 2025, valued at £4 million on transfer market. It could mean that they look for a little bit of money with that 2 years being left on his deal. But he's set on leaving, apparently. He's only had that one full season at Legia Warsaw after working his way through the Werder Bremen academy in Germany. And I think, once again, just like Biyamba, I think he sees potential in himself that he wants to realise elsewhere. A Champions League Celtic, perhaps, or a Galatasaray, a much bigger club in Turkey from Legia Warsaw. So, you know, he's in a very good position. With cards are in his hand. He can probably dictate where he wants to go if offers are on the table. But I would like to see Celtic put serious interest across him and Biyamba, because I feel like both of them are very viable and very good options. Of course, the last player we signed from Legia Warsaw wasn't a bad pickup at all. Josip Juranovic, that's where we got him from. Came in to Celtic for that 18 months and was really, really good. Got his big move to Union Berlin in the Bundesliga as well. So, you know, we've got a good history with a couple of players from Legia Warsaw. And that, of course, being the most recent example. But he's another one to keep your eye out on over the next few days. However, take everything with a pinch of salt. Just because a journalist has tweeted it doesn't mean it's always true. As we've found out over the last 24 hours, with Brendan Rodgers rubbishing a couple of the names who have been linked with Celtic in recent days. Following our game against Yokohama F. Marinos yesterday, Brendan Rodgers was asked about a couple of names who were thrown out in the media. In particular, we're talking about Ferreira from Grêmio in Brazil and Rida from Egypt. They were two players who were thrown out there. Brendan Rodgers commented quite simply saying this: I don't even know who they are, to be honest. So there you go, that was that. Short and sweet. And that made the rumours short and sweet And look, there was the other night when I seen this news break about Ferreira, I thought to myself, oh, I could go up and make a video and talk about this, yada yada. But sometimes you just know when it's nonsense, it's rubbish. You just get a feeling. And I had a feeling from the guy. I didn't even, to be honest, the guy Rida, the Egyptian boy, never heard it. Never even seen that rumour once. But the Ferreira one just didn't make any sense to me. I just thought it was plucked out of nowhere. When I looked at the player himself, I was like, right, okay, this is a no-go, in my opinion. It just didn't make sense. So I just held off on it to see how it developed. And lo and behold, Brendan Rodgers comes out and says that it's absolute nonsense. I must admit, it's a relief to me. I don't know anything about the boy Rida. I'm not going to sit here and say that's a relief. But when it comes to Ferreira, I'm actually really, really happy that it's been rubbished. Because when the rumour started and I'd done my reading and my research in case I did have to make a video, I looked at him and his record for being a winger wasn't, nothing really stood out. I didn't look at him and go, wow. And also his injury history was quite concerning. It was those kind of injuries that reoccur time after time, bad ones in the leg and such, and it just made me think this is a Dirk Barigter waiting to happen. So I'm actually glad that it's been rubbished. So if you've seen anything about that, you've been waiting to hear anything else about that, get it out of your head. Ain't happening according to the manager. So yeah, take everything that you see with a pinch of salt, even the stuff that I report on in here. The difference is today, this morning, the rumours about Biyamba and the rumours about Navroki, much more believable, make a lot more sense compared to, the Ferreira type ones. So when I do come on here and I report ones, I try and make sure it's the ones that are worth reporting at least. They might not happen, but the ones that make sense. And I feel like these are two centre-half pickups that could make a lot of sense for Celtic. And that does it for today. That's everything that we have to talk about. Quite a longer one, a bumper edition of the Celtic Transfer Talk. There's also been a quick update on the double signing of the Korean duo Gwon and Yang. They will link up with Celtic post-Japan tour. It was originally scheduled to be during the Japan tour, and they were meant to meet up and officially become Celtic players then. But there was a report published this morning in the media that it's saying it'll probably be after this is all done and we're back in Glasgow. So stay tight, stay patient, that'll come. But it is done, dusted, signed, finished, basically. Yeah. Okay. That does it for today. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.